The Ministerial Code says that ministers who knowingly mislead Parliament will be expected to offer their resignation. Does the Prime Minister believe that applies to him?
Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, of course, but let me tell the House that I think he's inviting a question about an investigation which, as you know, Mr. Speaker, I can't comment. And what I am focused on is delivering the fastest recovery of any European economy from COVID.
I think the Prime Minister said yes, he agrees the code does apply to him, and therefore, if he misled Parliament, he must resign. Yes. On the 1st of December, the Prime Minister told this House, in relation to parties during lockdown, all guidance was followed completely in number 10 from that dispatch box. Yeah. On the 8th of December, looks quizzical, he said it. On the 8th of December, the Prime Minister told this House, "I have been repeatedly assured since these allegations emerged there was no party." So since he acknowledges the Ministerial Code applies to him, will he now resign?
No, Mr. Speaker. Let me just remind the House, and indeed remind the country, that he has been relentlessly opportunistic throughout. And it's precisely because we didn't listen to Captain Hindsight that we have the fastest growing economy in the G7, Mr. Speaker, and we have got all the big calls right.
The guy that said in hindsight he now appreciates it was a party. We've discovered the real Captain Hindsight, haven't we, Mr. Speaker? Let me spell out this. Let me spell out. They shout now. They're going to have to go out and defend some of this nonsense. Sue Gray matter to the police, having found evidence of behaviour that's potentially a criminal offence. Prime Minister, if you do not understand the significance of what happened yesterday, then I really do despair. Because the police, Prime Minister, the police, having got that material from Sue Gray, subject it to a test to decide whether to investigate. And that test was whether it was the most serious and flagrant type of breach in the rules. But what they meant by that, that those involved knew or ought to have known what they were doing was an offence, and that there was little ambiguity about the absence of any reasonable thing. Does the Prime Minister,
This question will continue, and I will hear the question. Unfortunately, you might not believe this, but our constituents are very interested in both the questions and the answers. If some members do not wish to hear it, please leave quietly. Keir Starmer.
Mr. Speaker, having got the material from Sue Gray, the police had to take a decision as to whether what they had before them was the most serious and flagrant types of breach of the rules. If members want to laugh at that, laugh.
But he talks about the most serious issue before the public today and before the world today. It's almost as though he was in ignorance of the fact, Mr. Speaker, that we have a crisis on the borders of Ukraine. And I can tell him what is going on in the cabinet room of this country is that the UK government, no, Mr. Speaker, the UK government is bringing the West together so that we have, led by this government and this Prime Minister and our Foreign Secretary and Defence Secretary, to bring the West together to have the toughest possible package of sanctions to deter President Putin from what I think would be a reckless and a catastrophic invasion. That is what this government is doing. We're getting on with the job, and I think he needs to raise his game, frankly.
This was the Prime Minister who went into hiding for 5 days because of these allegations. Talk to me about being around for the allegations. Mr. Speaker.
Can I just say I don't want to do this, but I am determined to make sure our constituents can hear. The next person that stops me hearing will not be continuing in this debate.
Of the way, but I tell you the reason he wants me out of the way is because he knows that this government can be trusted to deliver, and we did, and we with the Labour Party today, Mr. Speaker, is that he's a lawyer, not a leader. That's the truth. That's the truth, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Happy unbirthday to him. Happy unbirthday to him, because just like the Mad Hatter, he didn't need the excuse of a birthday to have a party, but it did help, didn't it? So I would prefer to be led by a lawyer than a liar. Will he now resign?
The honourable member will be withdrawing that last comment.
I withdraw it. That's what my constituents think, not mine.
Right, to less of that.